welcome to In the Room, where culture meets Hollywood. And I'm Alisa. I'm here with, yes, Emmy Award-winning showrunner and writer Ali LeRoi. And this is the show where we break down what's really happening in the industry. Yeah, you like that? You like that? I had to give you your title, right? Okay. Yeah, he likes that. Yeah, stroke his ego a little bit. So today we're talking about what it really takes to get seen. Just a little bit. What it really takes to get seen right now in Hollywood. So while Issa Rae is building new pipelines with microdramas and Byron Allen is buying his way past gatekeepers, there's another conversation happening about opening weekend pressure and how one film decides what gets made next. So we're asking, is success about the film or the noise around it? We'll also get into viral marketing today and how some films aren't just promoted, they are made to be unavoidable. And we'll break down the WGA's new deal. So let's start with what's happening right now, fresh off the timeline. These are the dailies. So have you heard about Issa Rae with Hooray? She's expanding into microdramas.
Did I hear about her?
Yes. So she's launching.
I heard a little bit about Issa Rae.
Okay, good. So she's launching this new microdrama called Screen Time, a new series. And this is the first project under that broader deal between Hooray and TikTok. Remember, we were talking about TikTok reaching out to people to take short form content and make it into series and long form content. It's also going to include a slate of creator-led micro series rolling out across TikTok and Pine Drama. So the series that she has called Screen Time, it centers on a double date movie night that spirals with a mysterious figure hijacking the TV and forcing the couples to reveal their deepest secrets or risk exposure. So it's kind of like, scary, Saw-ish, really kind of cool. And the plan overall is to expand into multiple genres, from comedy to thrillers, action, and they want to build a pipeline of creator-led series that are accessible and culturally grounded. So I think this is really cool. We spoke a lot about this whole vertical wave that's coming in, and I'll admit I feel like I'm drinking the Kool-Aid now. Because before, I was not really for it. I always looked at verticals as like less than content. But I actually had my first vertical audition, and I got the scripts and I got the rates. And I was like, oh, this what y'all getting paid?
Oh, okay. Well, so hold up. Back up.
Oh.
Slow down. My first question is, why is Issa Rae on YouTube? I have the answer. But I think that is a question that a lot of creators and artists, got to be asking. She's got a Paramount Plus first look deal. She's had a hit series on HBO.
Well, this is not going to be YouTube. Hold on. It's not going to be YouTube. I'm just saying, I want to, because her other show is on YouTube. That's Picture This. This is Screen Time. This is going to be released as a vertical on TikTok.
Okay, so she's on TikTok and she's on YouTube, right?
Yes.
So my framing is this: I'm less concerned about the specific different individual platforms than the fact that she's got major deal with top corporations. And like I said, if I'm a young creative, I'm wondering what's she doing back on social media, and I think that it's because it's not just about the deals that she's able, but this is where she can make something, right? This is where she can put whatever leverage, whatever, resources that she has, she can actually get on the ground and she can make something and she can put it out. And that's what can happen on these platforms that is not happening at the studio level. And understandably, it kind of becomes a IP factory, right? What can I work on here, get to an audience, create some sort of revenue, create an exchange with my audience. Then if it levels, then I can take it back to Paramount Plus or do something else over there. So it's just, I think it's interesting that she's got her boots on the ground in one way, but leveraging her access in another.
Yeah, and she did mention that she was at the Raps Creators Hollywood Summit, and she was saying that DEI has become a bad word in Hollywood. It's shifted away overall from investment in representation that once opened the doors for people like herself, right? And so the business is forcing creators to fight harder for these stories for unrepresented voices. So, and I also feel like I agree with her when she said that Hollywood is dependent on already viral creators instead of actively discovering fresh voices. So maybe these pipelines are means for discovering, but Issa is an already viral creator technically. So I don't know, but maybe she's leading it by example, because it's just like, look, I already had my show on HBO, but this is the pipeline that I'm going through now, and this is the pipeline that maybe you should be going through also to get to a place of discovery.
I
You know,
think that's interesting because on these platforms, one of the things that's happening with young creators right now, and I spent a lot of time watching a lot of Tubi this weekend, and seeing what they were doing with some of the social media creators that they have put on their platforms now. And I got to say this: a lot of the material, while earnest in its creation and its performance, a lot of it wasn't incredibly well executed. And what that makes me think is that while these young creators are like they're a gold mine of access to that audience, but at the same time, Issa Rae has, she's had an opportunity to develop her craft, to really get great at what she does. She's an incredible business person now, and I'm not sure that the gold rush of young creators going into this platform are understanding that a lot of what they're being leveraged, right? We're taking access to the stuff you've already created, we're putting it on the platform. You do get the benefit of higher exposure, but you don't get the tail end of being brought into the system and then being built to a different level of creator and a different level of experience. So I'm just saying that it's exciting right now. I think it's fantastic. Love what Issa Rae is doing, but what I hope happens is that there becomes some bridges for these creators to become part of the machinery of the business, and not just, we tapping into this heat to fuel the trajectory of our platform, and then once they're done with that, those people are expendable. We've talked about this before.
yeah, that's a good point, and it really does depend on what happens with the content with Issa Rae. She has a name already and a proven track record, so she can pop in on this platform, and it does nothing but boost her audience. It doesn't really take away from her ability to potentially go back to HBO or sell a show. Whereas if you're a new creator, you don't necessarily have that. But I'm very interested to see what happens with verticals. Like I said, I had my audition for the vertical, and I always thought that they had horrible scripts and everything like that. So I was surprised to see the script.
Well, tell me as
cool.
much as you can, because this sounds like
well,
I'm
they,
not out
they
there.
have they have me under NDA, which I'm like, okay, so I can't say too much. But
they doing NDAs on verticals.
That's why I said, I was like, this is a lot. But no, but the script was actually really impressive, actually well written, and it was a story that I would be like, I would be interested in seeing a full length project about this particular story. Most of them that I've seen in the past seem very stereotypical, and they seem geared towards like a Chinese audience, where you see the leads are usually Caucasian or Asian. I'm in Atlanta, so this is based in an Atlanta-based company, so everything's black, right? So the leads are black. The pay rates are pretty impressive. To me, they're on par with what you typically would get for a SAG guest star role, or depending on SAG day player rates. So I understand why actors are leaning in if this is what's being made. Now, I don't know what they're paying their crew. From what I hear, they usually cut corners on the production costs so that they're able to pay out the actors pretty well, which is what I've seen. But I won't really know until I'm actually on set to really say that. But I was actually impressed with the writing. Like it did change some of my preconceived notions for sure wrapped around it. But it could just be that the type of content that's coming in verticals now is building because they have new pipelines for where these verticals are going to go. So it's like, okay, there's space for better stories. So we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah,
with that. But
it'll be interesting just to see if these creators can really develop their skill sets. Right, because like I said, you get in how you get in. Whatever door you came in, whatever opportunity presented itself, you got your feet in, you did a thing, people paid attention, and then the question becomes, how do you build a career? And so I think a lot of people are really concerned about heat getting on, and there's less concern and less insight into staying on. and so I just think that's a conversation that these young creators need to be thinking about when they're getting excited about being on these platforms. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm excited to have them there because it gives them an opportunity that's been taken away from gatekeepers in the studio system. All these reasons why, where you can't do something. So this is fantastic. I just hope they have an eye on it.
When you say getting on versus staying on, what would you suggest that they do?
Well, One thing is craft. You actually have to learn this business. You have to build relationships. You have to build language around the things that you're trying to create. You got to study your craft. You got to learn how to write. You got to learn how to talk to other department heads. You have to learn how to talk to the other creatives in the space that want to do the things and make the things that you want to do. Y'all got to be able to have a dialogue around it, and that comes with an education. And you also have to learn how to deal with people. You got to have an idea of when your ideas aren't as good as you think they are, or when they are good, but how they can be improved. And it doesn't have to be this defensiveness around, y'all don't know what we do over here, so leave us alone. It's like, no, I see what you're doing, and there's ways to do it better. You know, one of them days, is that the name of it, SZA and Keke Palmer? I love that movie. I love that. I think it's funny. It's well written. The characters are well acted. You know, there's a lot of great stuff in that film. I really, really like it. And then, you know, you can get on TikTok and you can find something, you know, somebody will do a parody of some shit, you know, another one of them days, and they'll put a D in it. You know? And it'll be just awful, but well intended. And I just want to see those people be able to try, fail, reset, bring the new experience, bring the new information, have an opportunity to do it again, and get better. We don't get a chance to fail and escalate. Yeah.
I agree with all that. And I mean, unfortunately, the nature of Hollywood right now is there used to be a lot of DEI initiatives within these networks because they wanted to make sure these underrepresented voices were they had a way in, right? And now DEI, as Issa Rae said, is becoming a bad word under this administration. Now DEI stands for didn't earn it. So it's not given the same sort of like way in as before. So whatever way you can get in, get in. If your content is good, it will hit, and then you continue to be consistent. And so yes, all of those things are true, but I also want to speak to the person that maybe has that information but doesn't have a way in at it at all, and this is providing you some sort of way. And so, you know, we would hope that we can support these verticals so that they can turn into something, and then, you know, maybe turn into more opportunities for actors because they getting paid. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'll say it briefly like this: the tightest version is a vertical short or a YouTube short or reel or, you know, whatever these short forms of content. That's the new spec script, right? Right. 20 years ago, you know, writers sat in a room and they wrote a script of an episode of a show, and if they could capture the voice, they could submit it to the people, and they get put in a pool of writers, and then 3 or 4 of them get selected, and maybe some blah, 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 blah. Right. Now it's do some shit, put it up. If it hits, maybe it gets to the right people. And in this connected world that we live in, yeah, you can put your shit on, and, you know, and Kenya Barris can see it. It'll go, oh shit, that's kind of cool. You could put it on and Ava DuVernay could see it, or Will Packer, or whoever, right? So that connectivity is there. But once you get that attention, how do you go about maintaining it? How do you go about building on your craft? And how do you go about taking that seed and turning that seed into a career? So all of this is good if you kind of have some idea around how to take it to the next level.
Yeah, and then speaking of the next level, some people are able to go ahead and buy their way in, you know, if they don't have a way. Let's talk Byron Allen. Some people, Byron. I'm not one, but Byron is. Byron Allen strikes a deal with CBS to lease entire late night slot following Colbert's excerpt. So Byron Allen, he has entered a time-buy deal with CBS to lease a late night slot. It starts May 22nd. His company will pay CBS tens of millions to fill the 11:36 p.m. to 12:37 a.m. slot with Comics Unleashed and Funny You Should Ask their shows, and that'll be running through 2027. It's a time-buy model, meaning Allen pays CBS for the time slots. He returns the commercial sales rights. Back-to-back episodes for these shows will run in that slot, replacing The Late Show. So CBS gets guaranteed money, no risk, where Allen Media Group takes on the risk, but they control their ad sales, the revenue upside, and the content. So in the traditional model, you know, networks control access, but in this model, his capital buys him access. And I mean, in a way, he's bypassing the gatekeepers entirely. He's made his own lane. He has the money to do so.
Well, you know what? So this is a conversation I actually had with Byron Allen myself. I had just come off of doing Are We There Yet? And he was working on his own projects in that kind of 1090 television model, do 10 episodes as the pilot, and then they buy the rest. Tyler pioneered it. I did it with Are We There Yet? Bruce Helford did it with Anger Management, and then Byron was trying it as well. But one of the things that he said while we just in conversation, this is a quote. He goes, "I'm not in the TV business. I'm in the time slot business." Right? Because at that time, his entertainment network, he was on at 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with all of these shows that were situated inside of rooms. Right? He had, entertainment review shows. He had, real estate, and, and he had Comics Unleashed, which is what the anchor show was. So it's been quietly sitting out there, bringing 5 comics on, letting them do their version of whatever that is Bill Maher used to do, politically incorrect and chatting it up. They're having a blast. Billions of episodes in the can, low cost. And now that the network talk show model has all but fallen apart, he's just moving the time slot from 2:30 in the morning to 11:30. But it's the exact same business he's been doing for the past 15 years. So it just got they caught up with him. So he's really doing some amazing work out there. And plus he's spread across a number of platforms too. So Byron Allen for me right now, the smartest man in the business.
Hey, and hopefully this will bring new eyeballs to it, because for those that don't stay up till 2 in the morning, we can now catch it at 11:36.
There may be more people in the audience, but there are not more hours in the day.
Right. So there we are. But I think that's really cool. I mean, blessings to him for having the capital, the pockets. To do that.
And guess what? But here's the other thing is that he may go put a talk show on and it may become a huge hit, right? So, again, the ability of this to scale and to put something on at 11:30 that it's like when Conan left the Tonight Show and went to the internet, he got bigger. So this is a fantastic opportunity for the right sorts of personalities. So we'll see how it develops.
Yeah,
but,
he can use that slot he can use that slot for whatever he wants. So we know that he's going to put these up first, but he can use that slot for whatever he wants to use it for. But yeah, so I mean, speaking of making your way in for some filmmakers, ABFF is the way in for them. So the American Black Film Festival announced this lineup of films that will premiere at its 30th annual edition. This year is a milestone anniversary for ABFF with the celebratory theme Homecoming. It returns to Miami Beach from May 27th to the 31st, honoring 3 decades of discovery and creative excellence. So the 2026 festival, excellence. Black excellence. Yes, the 2026 festival will, I know how to say excellence.
Excellence.
All right.
Learn how to say your excellence. You're excellent.
Look at you. God don't like ugly. Look at you. Exactly. It's going to host 16 world premieres across narrative features, documentary features, and series sections with films representing more than 10 countries. So some of the anticipated films that people are talking about, you have The Fridge. It's starring Marseille Martin and Courtney B. Vance. This is produced by Jamie Foxx and Datari Turner through Foxhole Productions, alongside Marseille's Genius Productions. Directed by Slovan Slick Neem, and the film centers on a queer teenager reconnecting with her estranged composer father in Los Angeles over a used refrigerator. And then you have another one, Montmartre.
Stop. Wait. Over a used refrigerator?
Over a used refrigerator.
A used refrigerator.
It's called The Fridge.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
I mean, check it out. Go to ABFF and see what.
Yeah, I'm like, no, really. I'm just pumping the brakes for a second. I'm like, wow, I love that. When we start talking about what people support and all that, I don't know what this movie is, and I'm excited to see. It's like, ooh, a relationship about a refrigerator. This has got to be interesting, like black family dynamic shit. I'm all for it. I'm happy, and I just want to give a shout out. I want to shout out Jamie Foxx and Datari Turner because they on the low have been doing some really amazing cool shit. Work. Diverse, amazing work. Interesting, just putting their hands in some water and kind of, opening up the conversation around, what types of black film, what types of stories are interesting, what can we execute, and who should be involved in that. So the Luther doc, what's the one he did, Tyrone, they were involved in that. Yeah, so this the fridge. I'm really like I'm really happy with some of the stuff that Jamie's doing.
Yeah,
Right
he's
now.
done
It's
some
really
really
cool.
cool stuff at festivals. Up Boy, Girl in a Dream. That was a Tatari. I watched it at Sundance. That was really great too.
Yeah.
Montmartre. That's starring Jesse Williams and Ito Aguirre, and it's about this woman, Joe. She's disillusioned with her disconnected life, so she visits a French district of Montmartre, where she falls for Toussaint, an eloquent tour guide, and the romance entwines Black history, art, love, reconnecting Joe to her long lost passion for life. So we were talking romantic comedies. Here we go. We got a little international romance going.
It's a little
That
French
sounds nice. Little
Montmartre.
French.
Montmartre.
Montmartre. I'm sure there's a better pronunciation for that than the one I gave. Yeah,
Say
it's in the throat.
in excellency.
Montmartre. It's in the throat. It's in the throat. Yes. Yeah, so that one sounds cool. And speaking of romantic comedies, we have That's Her, and that's the romantic comedy we talked about from filmmaker Nina Lee. So this was the one that was having issues being sold because they needed to see how Yumi and Tuscany does. This one is all about a corporate climbing playboy that falls in love with a girl next door office temp and with a high-powered executive at the same time. So you must choose between love and leveling up. In the cast in this, we have Country Wayne, Coco Jones, Emmy, Revere, Lampion, Loretta Devine, Charity Jordan. You directed Charity Jordan in American Refugee. J. Alphonse Nicholson and Tabitha Brown. Shout out to her. And so we know that we had to kind of see how Yumi and Tuscany worked before people would even consider taking this film. So I'm glad to see that she's premiering it at ABFF and getting the audience anyway, as opposed to, waiting for them to decide if Yumi and Tuscany did well enough.
I mean, I know we're gonna talk about that in a second. But the thing about ABFF that I actually am really, here's what I love about what's going on there is that of the major film festivals, we're talking Venice, Cannes, Sundance, all of these. A lot of those are kind of top tier A-lister. Those are sales and marketplaces, right? Agents and studios are showing up trying to really make big deals on what they think is the next thing. But ABFF is still a place where you can go and network and begin to build and foster and move your career forward. Because not only do you have, I think, more real access when you're a young creative, but you actually have business people who are interested in making deals and building relationships with the next wave of people in a way that I don't think we get the same level of access or the same level of interest. I mean, you may get some great accolades. Okay, fine, if you win a audience award at Sundance or what have you. But again, that sometimes is playing against necessarily who your core audience is or where your base is and who you're going to be marketed to. So I love seeing That's Her at ABFF because I think that's where it belongs. I think that that's where it will shine. And as much as she is interested in having her work accepted and taken into the major studios, a lot of times somebody's path may be the way around, and not necessarily going through. So shout out to Nina Lee and congratulations,
Shout out to that. ABFF. And I don't take my black card, but I have not yet been to ABFF.
Me either. I've never been.
Oh,
well, I was primarily a TV guy, and so I do have intentions to go. I'm working on something that I hope maybe will end up there because as I'm pivoting and I'm just making a shift into more directing and story writing and just doing something a little different. So in a lot of ways, I'm not different than a 25-year-old. Who's got a piece that he's trying to make. They might know my name, and I might be able to handshake with some people who are there, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be, is the work good? Is it something that a target audience is willing to buy? Do they want it from me? Right? All of those kind of things. So, that's what I'm saying.
You're a little different. Just a little different. You got more gray hair.
Right. But here's the biggest difference. The biggest difference is that, yes, I do have successes in my career, and they have provided me a livelihood. I'm grateful and happy for that. And at the same time, creatively, the box that I've operated in is not one that Hollywood is interested in seeing me climb out of. They say, hey, you got another black family comedy? We'd love that from you. And like, now I got this drama about it. And like, ooh, okay. All right, man, we'll give you a call
just
next
give
week.
us another Everybody Hates Chris. That's what they want. Another Everybody Hates Chris.
You got Everybody Hates Christina? You got one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got another one?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, I haven't been because it used to always fall around my birthday, and so I was just like, well, if I'm gonna go, because usually I'm out of the country for my birthday, but I'm like, if I'm gonna go, I would want to go with a film because I prefer that, if I can, but. Yeah. Let's get this film you're working on in ABFF, and then I'll go. Right. How about that? Right. Let's work on that. So speaking of films, let's talk box office rankings. So Yumi and Tuscany opened this weekend. It debuted at number 4 in the domestic box office rankings. It was behind Super Mario Galaxy, Project Hail Mary, and the drama that held the 3rd spot. Opening weekend, you had domestic about 8 million, global total about 9.1 million. Now, the production budget for this film was 18 million. So it recovered 50% of its production budget in the first, 3-4 days of being out. But they're still reporting this as an underperformance, right? And so you look at the opening weekend numbers, you start to realize how much pressure is riding on that first weekend. And it's all about what gets greenlit next and what gets held back, specifically with Black movies. So, I mean, I went to go see it because I was like, I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be one of them numbers. So, like, the next rom-com has a chance to be seen. And that's essentially what motivated me.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because I genuinely struggle with this idea. Do you feel like when a filmmaker comes on and says, in order for my movie to be a success, you have to go see somebody else's movie? And what that feels like for me as an audience member is suddenly I'm not being entertained. Suddenly I have a job. And my job is to make your movie a success. And I don't know anything about your movie. I don't know who you are, right? I don't know where, other than our solidarity, which I'm not saying is meaningless. That's important. But the thing about the solidarity is that I think that it comes from sort of an earned exchange. And sometimes I worry that there's a sense of entitlement that can come from younger creators when they believe that our job is for all of us to support each other, when in fact, if I'm spending my money, which I do, to go to movies or to buy films or to, whatever it is that I choose to support with the dollars that I earn, right? I want it to be because I saw something that I was genuinely interested in. And then if I loved it, I will go tell somebody else. But on the strength of, you haven't shown me anything, you're just saying that you encountered a problem, and now you're telling me I have to be in on your solution. How do you feel about that? I'm not, I'm just kind of trying to unpack it a little bit.
Okay, so let me counter that with something, because yes, I hear that. However, there are countless Black films that this new generation that weren't there for when they came out on the opening week or whatever. In fact, there's countless Black films that flopped their opening weekend when y'all were available to come see them. We now, this generation, sees them constantly, and they become cultural staples because of the fact that we keep revisiting them, because that's just
like
something
what?
that.
Do you have an example?
Belly, Love Jones, The Wiz, School Days, Crooklyn, Brown Sugar, Dead Presidents, Boomerang, ATL, Best Man Juice, Hollywood Shuffle, Babs. Every single one of them flopped. Every single one of them are cultural staples because we choose to watch them as a culture over and over again. And that includes the generations that came out after those movies were already, young, there's young people that watch these movies today. So to me, if we take it on as a responsibility in our culture to continue watching these movies over and over again so you can get your residuals, because I'm pretty sure there's someone watching Everybody Hates Chris right now that wasn't available to watch it when it came out, but you get your residual checks. What's wrong with you going to the box office and watching that film to make sure she get her film?
But that's an entirely different construct. They're not watching Everybody Hates Chris because I asked them to. They like it. They're not watching Belly because Hype Williams asked them to. They like it. They're not watching Love Jones because
but you don't know if you like it or not. How will you know you like it if she don't get to make it?
Well, here's what I'm saying. How will you know? Well, that's my point exactly. Being able to make it, having the wherewithal to get it to the people that you need to get it to in order that it can be seen. Once it is seen, having a piece of product or having a film or whatever it is that is entertaining to the audience enough that they want to see more from you. And if they don't see more from you, Ted Witcher never made another motherfucking movie. I've been waiting for another sequel to Love Jones for fucking 30 years. and you know, like, it's a brilliant movie. And that's another story entirely. But the idea that these films somehow are being supported on the back end, and that makes it our responsibility, the creators of people who've done things that entertain you, to just blindly support something for the mere reason that it exists. I've said this before, our attention is currency. And the attention that you give, the attention that you share, the attention that you collaborate around, it has to be earned, it has to be cultivated, it has to be maintained, and it has to be built from trust. And so I'm not saying that a Nina Lee or anybody else doesn't deserve an opportunity. I'm just saying that sometimes it can feel like the cart comes before the horse. I don't know you as a creator yet, and what you're doing is you're comparing your experience to fucking Will Packer. It's like, what are you doing? I'm not saying you're not a good filmmaker. I'm not saying you can't have a great career. And I trust that you have a great insight with the material that you're working with. I'm going to talk about Country Wayne in a second. But really, why are you fucking putting yourself with Will Packer? Will Packer's in there trying to get his shit made. He's not working with the people that he's working with, Halle Bailey and Regé-Jean Page and whoever the other writers and producers are. He's trying to expand his brand. And you're basing your success on the fact that if he doesn't, well, they're saying that if he doesn't do X, Y, Z, then you can't.
She's not basing her success. She's going into the room.
Right, I just said that.
And they are telling that to her.
I'm saying, I just said that.
Right.
But here's the point. The point is that he's in there trying to accomplish something as well. It's on a higher level, but he's in there trying some shit that he don't usually do. So he's got something that he's trying to accomplish. He's got intel that he's trying to collect. He's trying to put two people in roles that they haven't been in. So he's having a different version of a high wire act. And the idea that Nina Lee is conflating the position that she's in somehow with the one that he's in, arguably she's in a better position. I'll tell you why if you want to know.
Why is she in a better position? Yeah,
why is she in a better position? It's very easy. Nina Lee has Country Wayne and Coco Jones as the star in her film, That's Her, right? And we're about to talk about marketing in a second. So Country Wayne has, I don't know, 1 billion monthly social media impressions, followers, views on his content. That is a $5 million marketing ecosystem that he has ready access to on a monthly basis. Regé-Jean Page does not have that. He is famous, yes, but he's part of a demo. He's not the culture. Country Wayne talks right to those people. They support him. People support the shit that Regé-Jean Page is in, but if he says go see it, they might not. Halle Bailey is not different. Coco Jones has a fucking incredible Q rating with black Gen Z women, right? So you got Country Wayne and Coco Jones who have this incredibly deep impression in the market in a black community. Me and Tuscany is a demo project. They're marketing that to a quadrant of the audience. That's Her is a artist project. That's going, Country Wayne is in something that Country Wayne's audience will probably show up for. She has access and connectivity that they have to go and spend money, that they have to go out and do research, that they have to go out and get teams to put stickers and posters and shit up, and Country Wayne can get on and go, hey, come see my movie. I wouldn't be shocked if it does better.
And all that might be true. And all that might be true, but she still can't sell it. And the thing about You, Me, and Tuscany, I saw it. For you to say that this movie has to do well to prove that my black rom-com could do well, there are 3 black people in that film. Okay, it's set in Italy. The majority of the people in the film are not black.
Right.
You got reggae, you got Holly, you got her friend who's on the phone most of the time, and two black ladies that show up for a little quick, day player role. That's it. Everybody else is Italian. So for me, you gotta show. I gotta prove that this black film, which is barely black people in it, does well before I can get my black film that has a proven audience already in place.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
issue is not Nina Lee. The issue is the industry. Because everything you just said, I'm sure she pitched and said, yes, this is Coco Jones.
No. You're misconstruing it. You're misconstruing
how?
it. Well, I'm going to tell you how. This is how. Nina Lee has access to Country Wayne. Country Wayne is the person that can spearhead all of the fucking marketing for this movie. He speaks directly to his audience, and they're talking to different audiences. Listen, and this is where you have to expand the construct of how you view the business. I'm not suggesting that Nina Lee shouldn't have an opportunity to sell her film in the major studio marketplace, in the major distributor marketplace. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm not suggesting that her film is not quality and that it does not have the capacity to do that. What I'm saying is her access point is the streets, right? Her access point is I'm talking directly to the people who want the thing. And there's a distributor, there's a marketplace, there's a system set up where you can say, look, here's what I'm sitting on. I'm sitting on these impressions. I'm sitting on this audience reach. I'm sitting on this demo. I'm sitting on this connectivity.
I get that.
Keep listening.
That.
One
no,
second.
but hold on. Because because she's premiering at ABFF, she still needs to distribute the film elsewhere, which is what she's going into these meetings to find a way to do. Country Wayne is not moving the needle. Okay, she's talking to the wrong people. Who should she be talking to?
She should be talking to distributors who are not part of that ecosystem. She should be talking to distributors who are willing to look at her metrics and say, oh, okay, you have this sort of reach with this group of people. She's marketing a film to one of the most reliable audiences in show business with a person who has incredibly deep impressions sitting next to a person who's an up-and-coming star in the demo that they're targeting in. I don't know who she's having conversations with, but to a smart business person who has access available, and that might be Byron Allen. He does acquisitions. He might be looking at this going, oh, this is a great play. Byron Allen didn't do a shark movie because he liked shark movies. He looked at it and said, oh, this is a great play inside the demo. Right? I know genre. I know that it's a certain length. This star is somebody that can probably get a couple of eyeballs on him. We're going to put it out on these platforms, and it makes business sense. So I'm just saying that nothing about what she wants is wrong. All I'm suggesting is that she has access and she has leverage that she might not be utilizing. And the leverage and the power that lays in the audience and the connection in Country Wayne and Coco Jones, I think is stronger than the leverage that Regé-Jean Page and Halle Bailey and Will Packer have trying to create this broad demo 4-quadrant romantic comedy that doesn't sit in the culture, it sits in the demo. And the culture is activated in a way that the demo is not. The culture is active, the demo is passive. I'm saying that Nina Lee has an active situation that she might be able to exploit to her advantage if, in fact, she's looking around and recognizing what leverage she has. I'm pro that. I hope that somebody in that ecosystem recognizes it.
Well, if they don't, Nina Lee, listen to the podcast, and if that method worked, give us a producer credit. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Is it just me? Because we need to talk about what's going on in this industry. So while one film is being judged by its opening weekend, another film is making sure you can't ignore it. So the Newborn campaign, that film, is putting prisoners in boxes in the middle of New York City. And it's not just marketing, it's a moment. So the marketing campaign is for David Oyelowo's film, Newborn, which centers on intense, socially conscious, experimental
Excellencia spiritual.
My mantra. We can't speak today. But it includes these street installations and in arena NBA stunts. So the film's directed by Nate Parker, who we talked a lot about last episode. And it has this whole direct-to-consumer model via Mansa Studios, their vertical platform and distribute it through AMC theaters. So it's going to be coming out April 10th and like a limited release in several theaters across the country. It follows Chris Newborn, that's played by David Oyelowo, a man attempting to rebuild his life after spending 7 years in solitary confinement. And the film explores the lasting mental and emotional consequences of isolation. So it's really cool because you see that they have these installations where they're basically these cells, and you have these prisoners who are in solitary confinement, and people are just kind of walking by the prison cells have glass walls, and you can see them like observing them like they're an animal in the zoo. And they also did an activation where people were dressed as prisoners at the Detroit Pistons game. And it was to raise awareness about the 80,000 plus people right now that are in solitary confinement. So this is going to be the first theatrical release through Mansa Studios. So it really got me thinking about this whole idea of viral marketing and how sometimes that can help the box office numbers. So is it just me, or do you have to go viral before you get to go to the theaters? Because there's a lot of examples where that actually worked for the film.
Let's make this easier. You have to be interesting. People have to give a fuck about what you're doing. And so however you manage to make that happen, right? So if you're Tyler, the creator, and you show up and you got some kind of weird shell head on your face and people go, what's that? Right? It's like we're in a stop the scroll, era where, I've been studying a lot of Seth Godin. We'll talk about that later. But he's got a book called The Purple Cow. And the idea is that if you're driving past a field full of cows, none of them stands out. They all may be perfectly capable of producing milk and being steak, but one of them is purple. And that makes you stop and go, hey, what's that? And so in this era of scrolling, whatever it is that you do that makes people stop and ask them a second question or give their attention, then it becomes what are the things you do after that to reel them in. So whether that's a quick TikTok or, a performance piece out in the street for your movie. When I first saw the Sinners posters, I don't even remember seeing Ryan Coogler's name. It was bold, it was red, it was blue, it was these characters, and I was just looking at imagery and going, that looks cool. What is that? That was how it struck me. So do you have to go viral? Yeah, you can't go viral. You can't do that. What you can do is be interesting. And then if you're interesting, like something that is flammable, it spreads, right? That's what happens. The virality is the capacity of the thing to be easily accepted and easily dispensed with a clear understanding about what's happening here. We're all getting the same thing in a quick dose. Right? So that's the thing. Going viral is about being fucking interesting. If you're not interesting, you're not going to go viral. And that it could be death for your project.
Yeah, and I think that there are a lot of examples where, to me, the buzz around the film coming out were more popular than the film. If you look historically, the Blair Witch Project, they created this whole fake online mythology about a missing person, and Brilliant. The actors are listening to missing or dead. You couldn't really tell if it was real or a promo, and so they sold you on a mystery. And
did
then you have
that? Did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, who didn't see that? I mean, just the whole way they shot that, everything was really interesting. Just a couple of
But it was good though, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was good.
No, that's all I'm saying. It's like when somebody saw whatever they saw and felt compelled to go out and see this movie, regardless of how they may have critiqued it later, at the time they were interested. That's how they got all them people on that island for Fyre Fest. They put them orange squares on internet, showed them a couple of supermodels. Next thing you know, everybody was in a torrential tropical storm.
With cheese sandwiches.
But here's the best part. In true show business style, they're like, well, the concert didn't work out, but how do we make a movie out of that? I'm just saying, in show business, these people are fucking relentless. And the idea that you have a failing or the idea that something didn't go the way that you expect, it happens all the time. And the question about the longevity and the way that your career progresses is how are you able to adapt? How are you able to reframe? How are you able to make lemons out of lemonade and turn some shit that you thought was going to be one thing into something else?
Yeah, I mean, some films that I didn't go see, but I definitely know the marketing campaign. The Smile where they had the actor smiling creepy everywhere. It was unsettling. You know, it was weird. I didn't see the movie because I'm not a big scary movie person, but I definitely remember the campaign. If you look at Barbie, I mean, the brand partnerships were everywhere. You couldn't get away from Barbie.
Well, you know, Barbie's not fair. Barbie had a 60-year marketing campaign.
Well, that is very true. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't
even...
avoid it.
But
I
do
mean,
you
but
remember?
even Black...
No, I was going to say, do you remember when Dear White People first came out? Because at the time, Lena and them was doing like GoFundMe or something on Facebook. And so before the film ever came out, they were showing like little clips. And it was a cool and exciting and interesting clip. And based on that, they were able to build some funds and they eventually got it done. That's Justin Simeon directing and writing over there. So I'm just saying that, you know, I've said this before, and I hate to, you know, always be going back to it. This business is hard. You know, there are no guarantees. Nobody gives a fuck about your project, however good it might be. And we do want access. We do want collaboration. We do want to be great. I want that. I want that for you. I want that for all of us. And also, water finds its own level. Right? You gotta be in this shit and be in it in a way where you can take the hits, where you can reframe, where you can adjust, where you can go back at it. You can take honest critique and honest criticism, not be fucking entitled, put the hours in, and even then, they'll shoot your whole fucking movie and bag it because of some shit that you ain't got nothing to do with. Ask that to Batgirl or whatever that movie is. They shot a whole fucking $90 million movie and didn't put it out. So I'm just saying that you just have to be thick-skinned, diligent, creative, and really in love with this craft in order to be in it, stay in it, and make something out of it. And a great viral marketing campaign is just you sitting at home going, what do we do? How do we do this? What would be cool? What gets the eyeballs, you know?
Mm-hmm. So have we trained audience to only show up for what feels like an event at this point? Like, it has to feel like an event for us to even want to show up.
No. Absolutely not. There are too many things that happen. Here's the thing about young people, and this is me as an old dude standing on the outside, and I'm going back to the country wane of it all. Younger people now exist in an ecosystem that is incredibly well connected, right? Y'all talk to each other. Y'all on each other's platforms. So if you're a young filmmaker and you have a film that speaks to a particular demo, what you can do now is research other creators who are on these platforms who speak to the same people you speak to, but who may have access to an audience that you want to engage with. So instead of going to Paramount, you may be going to some girl that has a boutique, or you may be going to some guy who's a promoter of clubs. You should be fucking with people who fuck with the things that you do. And that's how people do these collabs. That's how they end up doing these huge pop-up events. That's how all of this stuff happens, because there's an interconnectivity around what they want to create, what they want to share with each other, and who's in control of that. And while it may not bring back the highest monetary returns, that is going to change, because at some point we're going to be hoarding all of the attention, and the attention is where the fucking money is. They can't gatekeep y'all. Y'all got to gatekeep them.
That's a soundbite. Somebody clip that. But I mean, we do see that Black films do have a little less room to fail when it comes to opening weekend. The fact that people are still reporting that as a failed opening weekend is surprising to me.
I mean, that's just biased bullshit. And I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. They're always trying to find a way to color the shit that we do as something less than. And that's what I'm saying.
Less than.
The bullshit of it is that the audience is actually interconnected, and somehow this middleman has slid in there and made it feel like I gotta be. When I went to Quibi a long time, this is a quick one. When I went to Quibi, this is before TikTok and all of this.
It won't be
right?
quick.
No, it will. There was an old guy. I'm sitting there talking to him about a movie for teen girls, teen black girls, and I'm talking to a 60-year-old white guy. Now, at least I'm there trying to get somebody on who talks to the audience. They're in there talking about fucking Liam Neeson and J-Lo, and they had an Idris Elba project. I'm like, why aren't y'all not talking to the people who are on the phones looking at shit? Y'all trying to sell the old people who are sitting at home watching TV. The disconnect was huge. And I'm just saying that these young people now, Gen Z, millennials like yourself, Y'all have access to an audience. Y'all have access to platform. You have access to engagement. You have tools to create, and you also have monetary resources. So you need to start talking to each other because you have leverage that you have not explored, that you have not exploited, and you are making it so that you keep giving your power away to these fucking people who are telling you got to wait to see what Will Packer shit can do so you can speak to an audience they don't even fuck with.
Well, Gen Z, they think we're old. I don't know if you saw it. Well, you probably didn't see because you have a different social media algorithm. But online,
is Lola Falana on your timeline? My time, I got Lola Falana.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know who Lola Falana is? She's beautiful. No, she's a beautiful black woman from the 70s.
Okay. Oh, right.
You had your Pam Grier people, and then you had your Lola Falana people.
Okay, and, but on my timeline, you had this Gen Z. Why you
pumping the brakes on Lola Falana?
I'm pumping the brakes on the rampage you about to go on. On my timeline, you had this Gen Zer that basically came out and was just like, I'm going to start doing a class where I teach y'all millennials how to properly use the internet and not be cringy online. And you know, like all the millennials are like, excuse me, you going to teach us what?
I know.
You're gonna teach us
old guy in the chat says, move over, hold my beer. I'm gonna teach you motherfuckers how to shut up. Y'all don't know nothing. You were born yesterday.
First of all, we were here when internet was created. All right, we know how to use internet. Okay, we don't need you to teach us nothing. So that was really funny to me. People were going.
They make y'all feel old. That's hilarious.
No, they actually don't, because they copy everything that we do. Every single thing that we do, y'all copy. All the music we used to listen to, that's what y'all be on TikTok dancing to.
All right,
like, come on now.
So I have a Gen Z son and I have a young millennial son. And real talk, you know, I'm really happy. Sometimes they be checking me on my old guy shit, right? And also, you know, I was today years old. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, this is 2026. Both of you know, one of them's 30, the other one's 26, 27. And it's like, dude, so much happened before you got here.
Is that a millennial? 30? I don't know.
Young millennial is 30. Yeah, they were right at the bridge, like, you know,
all right.
Old Gen Z. I got old Gen Z and young millennial.
If you was born in the 90s, I don't know. I don't trust you. Sorry. If you was born in 2000, I don't want to hear nothing you have to say. It's time for the table read, where we give the industry the notes it did not ask for.
Okay.
And this week, the Writers Guild of America has come to a new agreement, which sounds like good news. But let's talk about what it actually means. The script for this week is a done deal. So they came to agreement. The plan is to reestablish the solvency of the Union Health Plan. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers has agreed to pay a record $321 million into the WGA Health Plan. The goal is keeping out-of-pocket costs for writers as manageable as possible. They have a new 4-year minimum basic agreement. Compensation increases. So minimum payments increased by 10.5% over 4 years. Residuals increases. You have improved foreign and domestic high budget streaming residuals, and an increase for specific streaming services like Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus in the first year. And the deal strengthens regulations around AI generated content, forcing studios to disclose the use of AI and meet over AI usage in writing. So overall, writers will get paid more, especially for streaming shows. There's rules to make sure writers aren't replaced or undercut by AI. Shows are required to have a minimum number of writers, so rooms don't get too small. Writers are going to get better residuals when shows perform well. And the deal is considered a swift negotiation compared to the 148-day strike in 2023. So you're in the WGA. How do you feel about this?
Listen, first of all, we done had COVID. We had 2 strikes. Part of LA burned to the ground. People left the business. People left LA. Folks, yes. I'm the fuck out of here. Like, everybody is tired. Nobody wants to be the one responsible for the next fucking we all got to stay home and suffer news, right? So, yeah, make a deal. The upshot is that, yes, that allows work to continue, and work going on is always better than work stopping. They're making incremental changes around, you know, AI and pay structure, you know, in the race to be cheap, in the race to service what I believe are shareholders and some, you know, astronomical overall and production deals for a select few creators. You know, we don't need necessarily to pay writers more. We need to pay more writers. right? You need to have actually the ability to bring people into rooms, because the reason that shit sucks is because people aren't being trained. They're not learning in the rooms with these other skilled creators. If you're a genius writer, but you can work with 3 people, right? And those people kind of already know what to do or know how to do it. There's no handoff. That's what I was saying earlier. We're not getting these young, excited, creative voices who are coming up with fresh concepts and teaching them this is how you structure it. Not just the creating part, but also this is how you deal with network notes. This is how you deal with other departments. This is how you deal with production. A lot of those writers go on to become creators, and that's school. So it for the WGA, great. The business should be making more space, making more pay, and funneling into the thing, which is the lifeblood of it. I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it one time. Without writers, every fucking thing falls apart. Everything. You have to start with an idea and a story that somebody understands, and those people are the writers. So
I'm laughing because you're banging on the table again.
When you bang the... Sorry.
So, all right. So, for Ali's action pack, listen, because surviving Hollywood needs a strategy. What is the strategy for this week?
I touched on it earlier, and I'll double down on it now. Excellence. Regage on page. My mark. Straggedy, the raggedy.
God done tongue that tongue. He tied that tongue because you was talking shit. There you go.
Here's the thing. The strategy, I think, is in data, right? Okay. In the country weighing of it all, now as a creator, it's not just about the material that you make. It's also about the audience that you have access to. And so I think what you need to start doing, if you're creating on a platform, then you need to start watching your numbers, understanding who is engaged with you, why, when, because all of these things become the case that you're going to make as your business pitch as to why someone wants to support your project. What they want to know, hands down, all the time, how am I going to get my money back? And what you're going to say is, I have access to these people. They engage with me in this way. They've done it over this period of time. These are the projects that I've created. This is how they've dealt with them. So that projection is worth what? So there, understand your numbers, understand what it means to the buyers, understand where your project fits into the ecosystem, and then skill yourself, learn, educate on how you can engage with this business that you want to be in. You got to learn how to do a lot of shit, and you got to learn how to do it well. Get your fucking ego out of it, get to work, learn this business, learn your craft.
Love that. Okay, so y'all heard it here first. So what are you watching this week?
Oh boy, what am I watching? Okay, I'm still watching Reggie in Real Life, Reggie RIL. I love it.
Okay.
It's a little creator. He has a $sign in his name. His name is Sec, S-E-C-K. It's so fucking good. I love watching it. Again, just like he's a guy that I would love to see do, something more. A series, a movie, just great, small scale right now. But it's really fun, really great. Right up there with DRN Detroit, as far as I'm concerned. And I watched Blade the other day.
Okay, classic.
Wesley Snipes. Well, here's what's important about Blade. I'm sitting there watching, and I watched New Jack City a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, fuck. Wesley Snipes was he's the pioneer modern black action star, right? Not black action, action. Right? Passenger 57, right? Right? It was that. Like Blade. When Blade came out, nobody gave a fuck about Blade, the character. They liked Wesley Snipes, right? He was the star of that movie. He was the star of that franchise. That movie was made, I don't know, $30 million or something like that. Grossed $150 million at the box office in 98. That's like $300 million today. Right? Like, motherfuckers sleep on how big of a star Wesley Snipes actually is. And that just, so yeah, I was watching Blade. I know they tried to bring it back with Mahershala Ali, and I don't know what's going on there. But motherfucker, shout out to Wesley, man. That motherfucker was doing it on a level that's as big as any action star out now, and probably bigger because he was black.
Love that.
He's
Shout
still
out to
he's still
Wesley
black.
Snipes. He's still
Shout out to Wesley.
he was and is black.
Let's send Wesley some flowers in a saxophone.
All right.
Little care package. What you watching?
I was watching Beast in Me. It's a psychological thriller on Netflix starring Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys. Basically, it's about a grieving writer becoming obsessed with her new neighbor who may have gotten away with murdering his wife. She starts writing a book about him. The relationship turns into this whole cat-mouse psychological game, and the deeper she digs, the more dangerous it gets for her. The writing in the show is really great. And it's really cool because it takes you on this journey where one minute it's like, oh yeah, this dude's a murderer. The next minute you're like, oh, maybe he's not. No, maybe he is. No, maybe he's not. Like, if you really don't know, like such great acting from both of these characters, especially Matthew Rhys, just the creepiness that he had to portray and the way he had to make himself likable at the same time. So you can kind of go back and forth. It really pulls you in through the whole thing. Like I watched it straight through, started doing a plane ride and just couldn't stop. Amazing.
I have a question for you. I mean, I know we wind it down, but this is so when you're watching, this is back to the You, Me, and Tuscany. When you're watching, what's the name of it again?
The Beast in Me.
The Beast in Me. When you're watching The Beast in Me, and it's Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys, that's his name? R-H,
Matthew Rhys. R-H-Y-S, pronounced Rhys.
All right, Rathers. Okay, so right. You're watching that. Are you watching that because you're a Claire Danes fan? Are you watching that because you're a mystery fan? Are you watching it because you just heard
I'm a limited series fan. I'm a limited series fan, and I like psychological thrillers. And if the trailer pulls me in, the trailer pulls me in. Now, for me, I'm not I gotta watch stuff because it's black, or I'm not watching stuff because white people in it. My only rule is the world needs to be realistic. So the world needs to be diverse. I need to see a bunch of black people up in this world in roles that are good roles. That's my only rule. If it's an all white world, I'm turned off to it, right? But if the leads are white, the leads are white. Like white people be serial killers sometimes, so it makes sense. Casting makes sense. Stop the presses.
You be saying some shit in there, you just try to run past it like that was a normal thing.
Because I'm trying not to get canceled. I'm trying to just keep it going. So y'all miss it. Y'all miss it.
White people be serious.
You be wanting to sit in it. I'll be like, no, let's keep it.
You're like, I believe that. Yeah. This is good. And are the black people in the show nervous? Oh, the black people are nervous and the white guys. Okay, good, got it. I'm watching. Did you watch You or whatever that thing was?
Oh yeah, very believable. Very believable.
Wasn't he a killer? Wasn't that guy a killer too?
Yeah, he was also a serial killer.
Yeah.
Is there even a show about a black person serial killer? Oh well, hey Ma, that was Hey Ma or M.A. Ma, that was with
Ma, that was Olivia.
Wasn't she Octavia? Don't do that. Don't do that to Miss Spencer.
No. I got a couple of names there because I had Octavia Butler in my head, and there's like Octavia Spencer.
Love Octavia Butler.
Is there an Olivia? And then I got confused. I'm old, man.
Side note: Octavia Butler's Parable of that's coming out. So I heard. One of my favorite
Matsoukas.
Yes, Parable of the Sower. Oh, I'm so excited. That's my favorite book.
So check it out. Like so Melina Matsoukas, Octavia Butler, like I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. You don't have to convince me to go see that.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like on the strength of that's what I'm saying.
Let's see if you'll make it. Let's see if you'll make it through that movie.
That's all I'm saying. Show me something, excite me, show me just a little bit of, just a little something to go, oh, damn, what was that? And then I might come over there and spend some money because I support my people. I love supporting my people.
All right, well, but you're not gonna go see You, Me, and Tuscany, though.
And to be fair,
you're not gonna like that movie. You're not gonna like it.
I could. I loved my last year. Love Brooklyn. I'm shouting "Love Brooklyn" from the top of every rooftop I can climb up to at this advanced age. I love Andre Holland. I love Nicole Beharie. I love that film. I'm sorry I don't know the director's name.
It's not. Well, we can find it. It's not that, because with this, you know, I used to work for Hallmark, so I already know what this is. You have these tax credits with Italy and Ireland and places like that where you save so much money. So literally they're like, okay, they're going to give us the tax write-off. It's Italy. Let's make a movie wrapped around Italy. Let's use Italy actors. Let's lose Italy crew. We're going to save ourselves so much money. That's why you see all the same rom-coms at Hallmark. Oh, now she's with the Irish bloke. Oh, now she's with an Italian whatever. You know, so that's what it felt like to me. It felt like it didn't give me the traditional black rom-com, Love Jones, Love and Basketball set in our culture, but it gave me a nice escape to Italy. It made me want to eat Italian food, but it doesn't give me, I'm going to revisit it again and again. However, I still think you should go see it opening weekend so that Nina Lee can sell her damn movie to whoever she needs to sell it to. You know, why not?
I'm just saying, if Nina Lee just called me up and said, hey, you want to buy my movie for $15? Now, I'm not saying that would have cleared the rest of the debt for the rest of the production. But I buy movies off the Apple and all that shit all the time. I buy the movies from the black creators that I like. When I don't go see them in the theater, I actually buy them off the Apple, and and I don't know where the money goes, or I could figure that out. But I do love to support. You, Me, and Tuscany is not a film for me. I will watch it. I may purchase it when it comes on the thing. I would actually have gone see the Country Wayne Coco Jones in the theater before I went to see Tuscany, only because I'm interested in what they're doing in that lane.
Well, it has to get a distribution deal first. So maybe she'll take your advice, get a distribution, or you can go to ABFF and catch it there. But I mean, that's all we got.
Let's buy out some theaters. Let's buy out some theaters for
that's all we got.
Nina Lee and Country
Nina
Wayne.
Lee, or you could go see Newborn. Actually, I think you would maybe like Newborn. Maybe go catch that in the theaters. That's out right now.
Yeah, I'm fucking with everything.
Oh, that doesn't sound
very... As soon as I leave the house.
He doesn't leave the house. I forgot. You don't leave the house. All right. So you guys follow us on YouTube at In the Room Podcast, and also available on TikTok and Instagram at In the Room_podcast. And if you have any questions or topics you want us to discuss, send it to askintheRoompod@gmail.com.
And if you have any scripts you want read, send them to Alisa. She loves reading scripts.
Right. Don't do that.